Hey there, Michael Nomad Ripoll once again on the Rhythm and Blues Funk Guitar Series. Today we're going to talk about perhaps one of the most important techniques in this genre, chicken picking. Now chicken picking, you may say, man, that sounds a lot like country. Yeah, we do use a similar term or similar technique and concept in country, absolutely. But here, it's similar but different. Okay, not to confuse you. So let's get right into business here. Typically, a chicken picking pattern is played typically on the 4th and 3rd strings, the D and the G strings. It gives us a nice mid-range tonality, okay? And we're usually in a pentatonic form, and most common is a minor pentatonic form. So let's take the key of G minor, all right? And let's play our, we have our G minor pentatonic. Okay, so right there in the middle, those 4 notes, F, G, B flat, C. Boy, those are some great chicken picking notes. Let me give you an example. Let's say we have a groove that's something like this. Okay, right? That's a nice little groove. And you can see I'm employing some techniques we talked about earlier, like a kind of like a faux chugging thing, and with some chanks in there, okay? I'm just establishing a nice little groove for us to play to. Well, we take these 4 notes, we use some palm muting on the picking hand, very important, just like we did in the chugging method. We got to bring that palm mute in, okay? And then, of course, we use our fingers, the pads of our fingers, the inside pads of our fingers for the fretting hand muting technique. And then we press down when we want to play a note. So that groove with a G minor 7, okay, let's do some chicken picking. Let's break that down. Well, in its simplest form, from F to G, the flat 7 to the root. Man, you can make that so funky. All right, and remember, that's our goal. We got to make everything funky. So, let's just bounce back and forth between those 2 notes for a minute. You can see my head bobbing. I got the little groove going on. Imagine like a little rhythm part behind you, okay? But you're only plucking or chicken picking those notes that you want to accent. So you can hear that groove behind you, but you're only picking the ones that you want to stand out. And it can be anything you want. It could be random. So it's, it's this intermittent series of notes that you choose, okay? As long as, remember, you got to feel it. It's got to come from the heart. It's got to be filled with passion. And you got to get that groove going. Now I'm bobbing my head. I definitely suggest bobbing your head right along with yourself or tapping your foot. You got to get some form of that groove established. So I don't care if you go back and forth, do a little dance. I'm not going to dance, but you can do. As long as you get that groove going. You can hear how tight I'm muting. Another thing I want to talk about is the pick hand. I'm choking up. Look at how far I'm choking up on that. I mean, that's pretty far. If you look from this angle where my thumb is, you can see. Now, remember when I was doing some other strumming things and different things, I was more over here. But now, man, I'm right here, okay? That gives me control. Now I'll introduce another note. The B flat. And then for the B flat, I added a little bit of a vibrato, just a little wiggle, just to give it some spice. Let's add the 4th note, the C. You can see it's totally random. I'm picking any combination of these notes however I feel or see fit. Okay, then on that B flat, I added another little nuance, another little subtlety that might fly by. If you're not really paying attention, you might not even notice it. But again, I'm going to say it now, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to say it forever. You've heard that phrase, the devil is in the details. Well, there's no devil in these details. The funk is in the details. You got to make sure you pay attention to those minute, little minuscule subtleties and nuances, because that's what's going to make you funky. You got to be funky, and that's what's going to make you funky, okay? So check this out. I mean, that is so subtle. I played the B flat with my first finger, and I'm doing, oh man, it's like barely a hammer-on with my middle finger to the B natural. Now, if I did that, it's going to be, wow, it takes you out of that groove, because now it implies a new chord tone. And if you remember, we talked about chord tones and whatnot. So we don't want to introduce a new chord right now. We're going to stay in this tonal center, which is the G minor. So we're keeping that B flat, because that's the minor 3, right? Which dictates the key that we're in for the chord. But when we hammer onto the B, it's so subtle, so quick, and so light. I'm not really digging into it. I'm just kind of doing it a little bit. That it adds like this really cool funk. I mean, there's no other way to describe it, but that's funky. There you go, that's the funk, chicken picking. Now let's do chicken picking with some little riffs thrown in here and there. What's great about chicken picking is the core of what it's using is that minor pentatonic form. And man, we all love minor pentatonic as guitar players. I mean, you can play minor pentatonic all up and down the neck till the day you die and be content, right? So we have these little boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they're all over the neck. So in the key of G minor, again, you know all your 5 minor pentatonic forms, like the prerequisites talk about, and just pick any little 4-note, 3-note combination, 2-note combination within those box figures, okay? Now, let's play a riff. So we got this, but now I'm going to slide up to the D, and then I'm going to hit the B flat real fast. And it's going to give me this really cool little funky riff. And all I did was go bam, from the C to the D, bam, just, and then do my little trill thing again. That's that little subtle hammer-on. It's more like a trill. Well, it is a trill, but it's subtle hammer-on. It's not so pronounced, but it's got the little funk to it. And that time I just did a little vibrato. Okay, let's do some more riffs. So there I just went from the C to the D with my middle finger, slid, hit the F, and then slid back down to the C. And there you have it, some chicken picking with some riffs thrown in. Have fun with it. So chicken picking, more ideas to do with this technique. Let's go to the higher register strings. A lot of funk bands, especially in the 70s, 60s, late 60s, 70s, or artists, even R&B artists, had a percussionist. And that percussionist, you know, of course, would play the nice tambourine groove or shaker groove, which you can totally emulate with guitar, or even cooler, a conga groove. So let's say you had that same groove that we used in part 1. So it's a nice little middle of the road groove, right? And let's say you had a, so a nice little conga pattern going, right? He's doing a nice little bouncy groove, right? You can emulate that. Let's take a higher pattern in the G minor pentatonic. Let's take these guys. And if you even apply more mute with your palm of the picking hand, That's almost like a conga pattern. You know, do it an octave lower. And you can kind of emulate that little conga groove. Now, it doesn't have to be emulating that, or it just can be something rhythmic that just adds a little bit of spice to it. So again, that 4-note pattern, and I'm pressing more with the palm for that mute, and randomly playing a combination of those 4 notes. There you have it. And finally, let's add one more cool element to the whole chicken picking family here. And let's try it with double stops, maybe even some triple stops here or there, okay? Triple stop just means 3 notes, right? So double stop, triple stop, however you want to say it. Okay, so let's stay in that key, G minor. And let's start in this first box, this first minor pentatonic box. We can start with some single notes. Then we'll introduce our double stop, the B flat and the D right here. Then let's do the whole phrase in double stop. So we're playing the F and the B flat, the G and the C, the B flat and the D. We could still throw in that little riff that we want. So okay, I'll slow that down. So you can see I'm really applying a lot of that mute pressure with the palm of my picking hand. Let's try some more examples. It doesn't always have to just be perfect fourths. Again, those intervals of a fourth. You know, from F to B flat as a fourth, from G to C. Let's try some thirds. Let's try a major third. So B flat to D. And then let's try a minor third. A to C. Another minor third, G to B flat. So let's try that within the groove. Pretty cool. And you can take that same concept, apply it anywhere. For example, okay, so as you can see there at the end, I got a little bluesy. That's great. You can throw in some blues. That's where all this stuff stems from. Remember, the blues is, man, that's the foundation to which we build all these other subgenres and genres off of. So on that little blues riff, we've all played something like that. You know, get some blues in there, why not? All right, let's try it with the track now.